Hello, my loves. We're trying out a different system with my microphone being a different microphone, and a little bit of a different zhuzh as we go at this. We're going to test this out together over time. Excuse me while I nest, get myself sorted so we can have a really good, juicy conversation today. Sometimes I'm too long for my chairs. And right now my leg is too long for my chair. Okay. Welcome to Talks with Amy. Okay, so first of all, I need to just do a blanket shout out, welcome, introduce this new format. This is new format for the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am your host, Amy Van Meel. Super delighted to be bringing this here with you today. I'm going to shift the camera a little, so I'm a little more centered in there. I'm testing out doing the podcast on a video format to just kind of see if that streamlines my content delivery process, because one of the struggles for getting in. Okay, so here's a fun fact. There's a colored light behind me. If you're not watching the video, you won't see it. Excuse me, but when the colors change or if I sit in a certain place, it flickers. So maybe I won't do that in the future. This is every part of this is being tested out. Always good to have a deep breath and just and we're here. Oh, and here I forgot. There we are. Sort of better. I have a ring light that I haven't used forever and I'm testing with because I don't want to be just in the dark. Okay, that flickering is going to drive me crazy. We'll just have purple vibes. There. That feels fun. Pink vibes. Now I have pink lights because I was staring at the light in my eyeballs. I'm also figuring out the best microphone to use. I had a lapel mic that I've used for lots of things, but it seems to not play nice with the newer iPhone. Don't know why. Yeah, I'm back to my regular podcast recording mic, but with a different setting. So hopefully this is all going to work out and we're going to figure this out. Let's do a quick, my energy is going to feel a little blah for a moment because this is such a different container for how I have typically done podcasts. So very normally, you can't see it because it's behind the camera, but I would be sitting at my desk with my face right up to the microphone. And I am basically staring at GarageBand recording while I record a podcast episode. And today, this is different. Obviously, I can see myself on the video and it's just a whole different vibe. So my intent for 2026 is to continue bringing you really awesome content, but doing it in a way that is really super simplifying my delivery efforts, because I'm testing with putting videos on YouTube. Seems to be working kind of well so far. And then how do I make content easier? There's lots of ums today. Easier for posting on the socials and stuff. I've talked about this before. Being on the socials is not my jam, but I understand that it can be a useful tool for business. And it's also a belief that I'm playing with as well. Whether is it truly a useful tool for my business? Do I not enjoy being on there? Right? There's a lot of rewrites that are happening in this sweet little noggin. Right now in particular, but certainly as we head off into the year. I had some peanuts and some lemon water before, so guess we're getting a little bit of stuff in our throat. Okay, let's dive in. So the month of January, I'm calling Juicy January. I'm fully aware that today is the 13th of January. We're basically almost halfway through January already. And it's our first episode that is coming out. And that's 100% cool. I took a really good juicy break over the holidays. And oh my gosh, if you are on my email insights newsletter, you'll have seen that I shared, I've never done what I did over the holidays ever before. It was kind of wild. to just like so fully disengage in the way that I did. If you are listening to this podcast, catching this on the YouTube, seeing this on the socials, and you are not on my email newsletter, it's called the Insights newsletter, then like get your buttons in there. I'll put the link somewhere. If you're on the socials, it's always on the, where is it? It's on the profile page. And in the podcast, you'll see it in the show notes. And in YouTube, you'll see it below. There you go. So there we are. Okay. January, we're going to be talking about one of the three elements of wealth. So when I did the launch workshop for Wealthy as Fuck back in, I think I did it in November. I believe that's correct. What I was introducing in that particular live launch was a fuller spectrum of viewing wealth. So very commonly what we see talked about like in the context of wealth is that we talk about it from purely a financial perspective. And very often we have this sense, I think, because I know I certainly have had this sense that wealth is, one second, I just realized I still have my notifications on. I'll turn them off just so that like nothing beeps through while I'm recording and distracts the fuck out of me. We have this sense that wealth also isn't just about money, but is about like larger amounts of money. So if you're struggling, if you're like living paycheck to paycheck, with which the statistics tell us so many of us are in that state, and candidly, I am in that category as of right now as well, because I've been doing some massive reorganization of my like career and professional life. And that has had an impact on my financial life. And that those things often go together. And as I learn how to separate those things, I will be happy to share that with you. So we have this idea that it means that we need to have like large amounts of money. And so then when we talk about wealth creation, or things like feeling wealthy as fuck, or moving into a desired state where we are wealthy and we feel wealthy, when we are struggling in like paying our bills, or putting groceries on the table, or being able to put money, as maybe we're doing fine there, but we're not investing as we like, or we're not like saving as we want to, we're not able to take vacations that we've been dreaming of, like whatever. This concept of wealth can seem further away. So what I want to get you used to, and I will be endeavoring to do so for sure over the next 3 months, and very likely over the like container of this year, and candidly it'll probably be something that happens through the context of my work going forward, is that wealth is more than just money. Okay? True wealth is one element of his money, but it's not only money. So what I introduced, and I'll do the workshop again in March. My calendar is right there. You can't see it, but my calendar is right there. And so I have the next live workshop, not penciled, what's it called? Like eraser marker? It's written in for March. So mark your calendars. March 23rd, 24th, 25th are the tentative dates right now for the next live workshop that I'll be going into, like 3 of the myths that are really standing in your way of creating wealth. Okay. And in there, we talk about a little further about like, what are some of these concepts of wealth? But I digress. Let me come back to you here. In the context of January, we are going to be focusing on our health. So there are many elements of wealth that are, I want to say that differently, that I think will benefit from our attention and awareness of them. I am choosing at this moment to focus on 3 pillars of it. So finances, of course, I will forever and always very likely be talking about money and finance, and the context of like that in how it overlays with like your wealth picture. Because the truth is this, I don't care what any like guru person, whatever like ascended being tries to tell you about how money is, I lost my words there for a second. How money is not about feeling wealthy. The truth is, if you are struggling financially, it makes it very difficult to find a feeling of true wealth. Okay? Now, I'm going to clarify that a tiny bit and then we're going to dive into today. Feeling true wealth does not require millions of dollars in your bank account. Your version of the financial pillar of wealth might look like all your bills are paid with ease. You've been putting, 10% aside in savings every month, and that feels good. And your investments are steadily growing. That could feel like a beautiful picture of financial wealth in your life. And for some of us, the picture of like financial wealth might look like having millions of dollars in our bank account, or it might look like having a six-figure income, or it might look like having full financial independence. So like all of the income coming through is fully passive, or like relatively inactive. You're not out, doing a job in order to create the wealth. It might be coming through dividend payments of your investments. It might be coming through some kind of like, maybe you're retired, so it's like a retirement payouts that are coming. There's lots of different ways, and there's a million different, probably more, ways of us to view financial wealth. So regardless of like what your specific intended desire for the financial picture of wealth is, it is very, very, very difficult, trust me, I've tried, very difficult to feel wealthy in the financial pillar of your life if you are experiencing a reality where it is difficult to pay bills and you are having to postpone, put off, let go of desires that you have that require financial resources in order for them to come in. Okay? So we'll talk about, we're going to go like March is Money March. We're going to go all into the money things in I almost said Monday. In March, my goodness, this is my first time talking. What we're going to focus on January is health. So the 3 pillars that we're going to see, I told you it's going to be a little messy today because this is it's a new year, it's a new vibe, it's a new like trying to get in here with you and get into this container of space. February, we're going to be talking about career. So if you have any career questions, start queuing them up, drop them in my DMs on the gram, send them through. If you are on the podcast listening to this, you'll see there's a link always in the show notes to submit questions through a Google form. If you have questions about your career and like how to grow that and how to build the wealth in your career, start sending them in to me because I will deal with them in February. But January, I want to talk about health. And part of the reason is this. We are coming off, I know I certainly am, we're coming off a season where very often the majority of us have found ourselves overeating, right? And by that I mean having more than we require to just like sustain our bodies. Typically, we've had really big meals, whether it's with family or friends. There's been lots of parties. So there's been lots of like snacks and cookies and chips and desserts and like amazing, delicious things that we were just like, oh my God, I ate too many, but it was totally worth it. And so, and then what happens as well at New Year's Eve, right around that New Year's time, many people, I will say not myself at this point, but many people will set the ever-known resolution to lose weight, to release weight, to eat healthy, to be fit, to be strong, to be whatever, okay? What I want to talk about, we're going to talk today a little bit, I have my notes in front of me, which is why I'm glancing down. We're going to talk a little bit about how to feel strong, fit, and good in your body without obsessing over the scale, okay? That's like our juicy little, here's a topic for the day, and I'll dive into that a little bit. But what I want you to understand, whether you set resolutions or not, whether you are intending to release weight this year or not, whether you already have fully dialed in your like health picture in terms of taking care of your body and feeling good about your body and like being really in alignment with like this skin suit that we're in, whether that is in existence for you or not, I think that we benefit from a conversation of what does wealth look like in the context of health. Now we can take this a million different directions, and we've got a few weeks in January left, so I'll be dropping content over the next couple of weeks. So like, stay tuned. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, do the like, do all the things that will tell the algorithm for this stuff to keep flowing to you. And certainly sign up for the Email Insights newsletter, because I let you know when there's new episodes being released as well. But let's talk about this a little bit more deeply. So on Monday, I dropped the most recent Email Insights. Very quickly, there was some real good juice in there, but what I want to just pull out of that is that I talked briefly about that our goal in our health journey isn't about creating a picture of like the perfect body image and then striving towards it. Okay? As women, we are OMG so inundated from the moment we are born of how our bodies are supposed to look, how they're supposed to function, how we're supposed to dress. This will shift from like country to country, and even within countries from different places, it will look different, right? I grew up in the country, and I know that like people in the country had this way of sort of poo-pooing how people in the city dress. People in the city have a way of poo-pooing how people in the country dress. It's this whole thing that we're like, well, I'm from the country, and therefore that somehow must mean that I need to wear jeans and plaid and like cowboy boots. And if we're from the city, apparently we need to be wearing like suits or like super skinny fitting things. Like, it's silly. It's silly that we have these parameters in place, but they are in place. They are there. They are these social norms that, whether you subscribe to them or not, they do exist. And so you're going to feel their influence from time to time. But what I offered in the email this week was that it's not actually about looking at how do we create a body image that we fall in love with. How do we actually focus on the body as the machine that it actually is? Because our health is about something more than just, looking a certain way. And I'm going to touch on this. I don't know why I keep saying I'm going to touch on this quickly. This is the whole reason that we're here today. So let me just pull out of my notes. Let's talk about this. Okay, so on that topic, talking about how to build a body image. So the concept of yourself, the concept of how you view your body. Okay, so in this container, body image is not that we need to like be like super like, you can't see my belly, but like super thin and like have this like perfect posture and this perfect little bubble butt or whatever is like the latest thing with the thigh gap and the bullshit that is happening in the world. So it's not about having that kind of image, but how do you view your body? So how do we build a body image? How do we view our body that's based on what your body can do and not just how it looks? So very quickly, what I'm encouraging you to play with is that your body, it doesn't exist in order for it to have a certain image that other people find acceptable. I'm going to say that again. I want you to hear how ridiculous this concept is. Your body does not exist in order to fit a certain concept of what other people feel is acceptable. That is not what your body is here for, okay? Your body is actually this like beautiful vessel, a machine that is all these intricate systems that is here to host your soul so that your soul can wander around on this like little blue marble that we're all hanging out with and experience life. That is what your body is here to do. And whatever shape that your body is in, your soul chose that. And I know, listen, I've seen the jokes, I've felt the memes, I've definitely like agreed with them from time to time. Why couldn't my soul have chosen that I look like Scarlett Johansson? Well, because Scarlett Johansson's soul was like, that's my look because it's going to help me do whatever, this kind of career, this kind of work, have this kind of impact in the world. And for ScarJo, for example, sorry, Scarlett, if like you're catching this later and you're like, why are we talking about my body? First name that popped into my head. For ScarJo, like perhaps in order for her to have the impact in the world, her soul knew that she needed to fit a very specific paradigm so that she could access that space, right? I mean, let's be real. There are not generally people who look like me rolling around in Hollywood. And the ones who are, so I can't think of any off the top of my head, but like, I'll use Melissa McCarthy as an example, again, because I saw a video of her, so she's top of mind. Her body shape is not the generally accepted shape that is okay in Hollywood. Now, she has a very different skill set, and potentially her soul chose that body shape because it would craft this unique set of experiences that would help her build that skill set. Here are things that we often don't think about as it relates to our body. Your body is not here. It's never been created just to be like somehow aligning in some perfect ideal that some person that you've never met and will never ever know has decided is acceptable based on some bizarro kind of thing. Okay? It used to be that like my body shape was all the jam, and now it's not. And back when my body shape was all the jam, people who were like super, super thin were like not the jam. So thin people are having their moment. That's cool. They can have their moment. It's fine. I fully believe that at some point in the evolution of humanity, and it might be a while yet, we will get to a point where we understand that how the body looks is actually not really what it's about. What we do want to focus on is the ability of your body. Okay? What I want you to think about is, in its simplest form, just right now, whatever you're doing, there are more systems than you are even aware of that are busily working away, doing their thing, doing it almost perfectly, and in most cases, doing it perfectly, that are like keeping your body nourished, keeping your body healthy, keeping you going. They're making it possible for you to like drive in traffic and yell at that other driver. They're making it possible for you to like have that bag of chips that you're like, I told myself I was going to stop eating this. They're making it possible for you to go for a walk. I want you to just think about for a half a second, how many different things are happening all at the same time without your awareness or conscious direction for your body to walk. It's not just the muscles, okay? I know it's really easy for us to go, well, yeah, all these muscles are good, but like, I'm not that strong and I can't walk that far and like I really should walk more and blah, 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 right? Do you see how we devolve off into this like gross stream that we're beating up on ourselves? That we're dismissing entirely the beautiful circuitry that our body is. It's not just the muscles and the tendons that are happening. There are systems in place to hold your balance. Because if you think about one of the interesting things as the world has been developing robots, is that one of the challenging things in, I think it's the Optimus Prime robots, I'm pretty sure that's what the names are. That might also be from the Transformers, so I might have that incorrect. But anyway, our robot creatures that look like humans, one of the most difficult things that they had to figure out was how to balance so they could walk like a human. You learned to do it before you were even out of diapers. That is fucking wild. And it's not just the muscles. While you are walking, your heart is beating, your blood is circulating, your body is digesting. Humans are one of the few creatures that can digest and run for their lives. In other creatures, I believe that like all those what are seen as like non-primary systems shut down when they are in flight mode. We can like run and digest our food. It's actually how we got to be on the top of the food chain. Fun fact, if you didn't know that. The fact that we can do this is what allowed us to become the lovely, juicy predators that we are across the world. So I want you to really like shift how you play with shifting how you're viewing your body, not as this like, it's just fat, it's so ugly, my clothes don't fit, my whatever, but like seeing it as like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing, intricate machine, and look how capable it is. So when I head down to the gym, there are days that I'm down there and I feel like I'm just crushing it. I'm like The Rock. I'm like, rah! And it just feels amazing, right? And then there are days that I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't think I can get anything done today. Like, I don't even know, how did I get that done yesterday? Because it is not working today. And I've had one of the shifts that I've had to work through was releasing this like always, harder, further, faster kind of approach to how I move my body. So once I started understanding that my body is this like really beautiful machine, and that my job through my conscious awareness, my intent, and my actions is to really care for this machine, that started to shift how I saw my health as like the greater picture. Okay? And it allowed me to really start focusing on and appreciating how capable my body was. Even if it didn't look like how I wanted it to look, it was so outrageously capable. I began to really grow the appreciation for my body. And like over time, what that's allowed me to see is, you can't see me because all you see is like from like, my boobs up basically, but like from my belly button down, I saw this on a TV show once, a sturdy foundation, okay? I am not thin. I'm not a rail. I've never been. I never will be. Nowhere in my family line, on either side of my family line, are there pencils. They don't exist. They are all I won't go into the men, but the women are all like sturdy with like some curves. Women, we're hardy stock. And it took me a long time to realize that there's actually a tremendous amount of power in how I can only describe the size of my legs. Okay, I've always wanted like, oh, wouldn't it be great to just have like thin, long legs? That sounds amazing. And I have longer legs. They are going to be shorter than some. They're longer than others, but they're never going to be thin because it's not in my genetic makeup. Okay? And once I started to understand, actually, like, there are some things in life that I can do that others can't because of the actual physiology of my body. And that began to really go, oh my gosh, okay, so these are things that I actually really love. I love these things about myself. I love that, I don't know, I can go for a run, or that I can ski really well, or that I can carry heavy things, or I don't know, pick anything. Like it comes in 100 different ways, but I love that I can do these things, and actually what allows me to do these things so well is the actual shape of my body. So that's really important for us to start to shift how we see, my iPad went to sleep, shift how we see the actual like form of our body. Okay. I went into that a little bit deeper than I intended to. So let's dive into our last 2 points here. So the first one, why chasing a specific number, hello scale, why chasing a specific number often backfires, and how to shift focus to energy, strength, and how clothes feel. Okay. If you have ever been on a weight release journey, you might call it weight loss, you might call it a diet, you might call it 1,000 other things, you might have called the 6 months that you just felt miserable. It could be anything. If you've ever been on any kind of journey where you have been focusing on releasing weight, you will very likely have felt the struggle and the friction and the frustration of the number on the scale. Conversely, there are people, I know for those of us who feel like we're constantly in this place of like trying to maintain our body and like keep it lower than a number, there are people in the planet, my brother-in-law is one of them, who are always endeavoring to gain weight, who actually struggle to put on muscle and to put on weight, and it's standing in like the space between where they would like to see themselves. Every time I hear that, I'm like, well, that sounds like a wonderful problem to have, because I could gym all day, I feel like. But imagine if there's this paradigm within the world that says you needed to have a certain kind of physique, and men certainly have this, in order to be attractive or seen as powerful or seen as capable. And your body does not naturally move into that. And like maybe you have dietary challenges that are like causing you to struggle even more putting on muscle and weight. Like that could be really frustrating. So your journey with the scale might look different, where you're still frustrated at the number, but you're frustrated because you're like, Jesus, like it's still staying so low. Why am I not gaining the muscle or the mass that I was hoping for, right? But what I want to frame up for you, offer for you, suggest that perhaps is like a much better way to think of this, is that it's not about chasing just a number on the scale. Here's how I think the most beneficial way for us to use numbers on the scale is. That was a weird sentence, but I think we got there. Like a thermometer, okay? Let's say the idea of a coffee machine is very present on my mind right now, because my coffee machine, RIP, passed away last week, and I am waiting for the new one to come in, and I'm having shitty ass coffee in the meantime. And I'm like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it coming? Can it please come in? I'm waiting for them to restock it. And it's intended to be arriving this week, but in the meantime, I'm like, please bring me my coffee. So when you are making coffee, all right, I'm not talking about like just in the coffee pot, like set it to brew and off you go. If you have like a espresso machine or something where, for example, you are steaming milk, in professional settings, I used to do this professionally, you used a thermometer to gauge the temperature of the milk, and you would know based on the temperature that's reading on the thermometer what that number says, is the milk done and ready for the drink or not. It is simply a point of feedback. The number on the scale is the same thing. It is a point of feedback. So I do think that it's beneficial for us to have an intended number that we would like to work towards, whether it's working up to this number or down to this number. And you've picked that number out of like, I don't know, wherever, and perhaps part of your health pillar is to reassess that number and go, is that really actually where I want to be given all of the areas of my life? Because I will tell you, there is no reality that I can currently think of that I would be okay with giving up chips and cookies and chocolate and like snacks for the rest of my life. Zero understanding of like what version of reality that would have to be, okay? And I'm not even open into like bringing that in. So what I've had to come to was this understanding that if that is something that is of value to me, the access, the ability, the met desire, I suppose, that I have chips, that I have cookies, that I can have cake, that I have chocolate, that I have access to sweets and it's okay for me to eat them, well then perhaps I also need to just adjust a little bit my perception of like, well, what do I think my body is going to look like? Because it's not that I can't have chips and have a super ripped bod. But it might be, and for me at least, it certainly is, I could have chips and have a super ripped bod, and the part that makes those to work together, the plus sign in the middle, is like a tremendous amount of time in the gym. And this part is just, I'm not interested in. Because actually this like super ripped bod, the one that's like really like hella cut, like we're talking like almost bodybuilder level kind of cut, is not actually something that I'm interested in. What I am interested in is a body that is strong, fit, and healthy. Okay? Those things easily align with a reality that says I can have chips when I want to. Maybe I'm not eating an entire bag of chips in a sitting, but like, fun fact about getting older, if I did that, I would feel like garbage because my body is like, what is this? This is literal garbage that we're putting in our body. You can have some, but not an entire bag of it. Okay? My love affair with cheesies has been like diminishing. So, we want to instead of focusing so hard on achieving this number on a scale, again, whether it's up or down, it is so much more joyful and beneficial for us to shift our focus to our energy, our strength, and how our clothes fit. If your clothes don't fit as you'd like them to, there's a couple of things. It might mean you just bought the wrong clothes, or they're clothes that are just no longer like suited for where you are in life. Okay? That's a possibility. If you really love your clothes and you love how they used to fit and you want to move back to a place where you can fit into those clothes comfortably, that's a totally different thing. But as a fun example, very few blazers that I have, I can still fit in. Not because I've gained weight, but because I've gained muscle. So like there's this very funny sort of thing where I focused on being healthy and strong. And so I am healthy and strong. And I'm now too strong to fit in like a whole bunch of blazers that I had. Right? Like it's silly, but that's a part of, okay, so then my question is, so if I want to fit in those blazers and I want to keep the ones that I have, well then something else may need to let go. Because if I'm still focusing on strength and I keep focusing on like building these beautiful muscles that I have in my arms that I feel really proud of and that I feel like they're like very sexy, but then like perhaps I need to maybe get different blazers. Maybe I get them altered, right? There's lots of different solutions we can come up with there. Or I find a way to like somehow reduce the muscle mass. I don't know. I suppose that's a possibility. It's so foreign to my brain, it's not even something that I can think of. But what I want you to understand is that like how clothes feel is part of it. And that there are lots of ways that you can play with this that have nothing to do with the number of the scale. All right? Nothing to do with the number of the scale. The other two things that we talked about shifting our focus to were energy and strength. So we've talked about strength a little bit. This one is really key. If you feel like you want to have a healthy body, for women in particular, as we like hit our 40s and up, there's certainly a lot of, I'll call it medical research, to my understanding, medical knowledge that says building muscle strength is actually more beneficial to our long-term health than, for example, staying thin. That one's big, but also like even cardio. Now, what I found, I spent the last year or so trying to find my way into being more focused on the muscle building and releasing the cardio. And OMG, I fucking missed the cardio. I missed running. I was still doing it from time to time, but I kept going, well, I need to really focus on the strength. So then it was like having this like weird place of this weight, of needing to like build strength, but like, well, then where do I find the time for the cardio? Or do I now have like this super long workout? Like it's a whole thing. And what I came to the realization of over the holiday break was actually, I really love running. 20 years ago me or 15 years ago me would not believe the words that are coming out of my mouth right now because I fucking hated it when I started. But I love it. I love the time. I love the movement. I love how my body feels in that space. It's like this really amazing meditative vibe for me. I really love running. And so on that note, what I realized was, okay, so actually what I would like to do, what I'd like to move into is to be able to build towards the longer runs like I used to. Because I had this really fun thing that's happened over the last year and a half where I still can run 5 miles. That part's fine, but I now have a banging headache for the rest of the day and I'm not here for that. So I'm building up into how do I How do I go from 3 miles, which is currently fine, into moving towards 5 miles being fine again, being able to go outside again for a run? Like there's different elements of it. But like pairing that with some strength training as well. Okay. So like when we shift on how we view our body as a machine and we view our health as like this really beautiful integrative thing, and we focus on strength, and that can be like strength muscles, or that could be strength sit-ups. It could be strength cardio. It could be strength, energy and time to like go play with the kids. It could be whatever. It could be strength to build a fence, like, which is what we did the year that we got married. There's lots of ways that we can view strength, and it will depend for you what feels good to you. For some of you, it might feel really fucking boss to be able to like, I don't know, deadlift 100 pounds or to bicep curl like a 75 pound weight. Even just thinking about that right now makes my biceps sore. I have had my own internal conversations challenging the belief that I need to do bigger curl, like bigger weights with my own, specifically with my upper body, for sure, but like around bicep curls, for example. So I typically use 10-pound weights. And there's like this part of me, I have a friend who does strength training as well, and I love it. And she shares that like, I think she's doing like 25-pound weights. And I'm like, oh my God, Amy, you need to step it up. And then I'm like, but why? I actually don't, because it feels good to do the weights that I do, and I'm having the results that I want, and that's fine. And like, maybe I'll work my way up to, I don't know, like 12 pounds or 15 pounds if that feels good. But for right now, I'm not interested in it. So I can let that go. So focusing on strength. The last one is the energy. Okay. This one is big. I've talked about this lots on like the stories on the gram. And I think I've probably recorded some podcasts about this, but like paying attention to your energy and flexing how you move your body as related to that energy. So there are times, especially for us as women, where we just have zero energy, nada, zip. Like I get that like your weight release program is telling you should be moving every day, and your body is like, where the fuck do you think you're going? Sit your ass back down. We got no energy for this. We're staying put, right? That's a possibility. So understanding though that your shift to focusing on the energy of your body, how your body actually feels, what lights you up? Does running feel fucking great? If so, then like lean into it. And if you're like, oh my God, I hate every fucking step, I don't enjoy like how I feel afterwards, I guess it's kind of fine that like my legs are getting long and thin. Like if that's how you're feeling about it, but your energy is diminished all the way through, that is not where you want to be putting in your focus. Like that just seems silly. There are I have a cousin, I love her dearly, and we were talking about like, Amy, like how do you look the way that you do? And I'm like, well, I hit the gym. Like that's part of it. Because we have like our body shapes are similar. And she's like, oh my God, not at all interested in going to the gym. At all interested in exercise. Like it's just not her vibe. So cool. She could go into it. If it somehow interests her in the future, she can definitely lean in there and she can build on that. And that will shift how her strength and everything comes together, and it will shift how her body shows up because it just has to. I mean, when you tinker with a machine, it's going to change the machine. Hello. But for her to like pour a ton of energy into forcing herself to go to the gym is likely not fueling her energy long term. So there isn't a right or a wrong way. It is what fits the most well, I guess, for you. But shifting to go, okay, like what builds my energy? What gives me energy? There are times like my husband and I will go for a walk outside, and there are times that I'm not really all that excited about going for the walk. Maybe it's kind of cold. Maybe I'm kind of like, But I know that my energy will actually like improve, increase, feel better as a result of going for that walk. Plus I get time with my love and like movement and like that's fun, right? So if I know that, then off I go for the walk. But the focus is on like, how does this energetically feel for the rest of the day? Okay. The last thing that I want to talk about today, we've really covered a lot. 3 simple daily habits that make a bigger difference than any extreme diet or workout. Yeah, very quickly, because we've talked a lot about like hitting the gym. Sorry, my nose is itchy. I want to very, very briefly just touch on diets and workouts and like that whole realm of the world. Okay. Firstly, your diet is just what you eat. So this concept of going on a diet is actually just you're shifting what you're eating. You already have a diet. You are already on a diet. It is literally what you are feeding and fueling your body with every single day. The extreme diets, the extreme workouts, I have always been very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's right there on the edge of my brain. Skeptical. I think that's close to the word I'm thinking of any kind of workout regime or diet that requires, like, how do I want to say this? A very strict kind of restriction. So like I can't remember the names of all of them, but there was like the diet that was 10 or 15, maybe 20 years ago that was all about like no carbs, right? So you only have vegetables and meats. There's diets about having only organic things. There are diets about, gosh, I can't remember them all. Like, because I've never subscribed to them. I've never been interested in them. When I went through my weight release journey, I did leverage a program that guided me through and that actually taught me a tremendous amount about the psychology of how and why we eat. And it taught me about food, which is what I was looking for. And then as a result, as part of it, I learned about how to really honor my body and shift my body and move my body. And making some adjustments to my diet, to how I nourished and fed my body every day that aligned with and allowed my body to shed weight that wasn't needed anymore. But it also was an internal work. It wasn't just, Amy, what did you eat and how, were you hungry? I wasn't. It was a little bit of shifting how I eat and also a lot of shifting what I believed was okay for me. I know I definitely recorded a podcast about that at one point. So anything that is like this extreme or very restrictive kind of workout or diet, if it requires you to do like something every single day and it has to be like super hard, I am very cautious of those. I just think that they might have short-term effects, but I don't think they have long-term gains. And this is why so many people have what they call the diet yo-yo, right? Because you'll go on this diet, you go through massive restriction, you go through massive and you'll be really good and you can do that for a while. And then you release the weight and you're like, oh my God, I did it. And then you're not at all set up for regular life. And so we gain the weight back. And part of that is because we don't know how to properly honor our body from the nourishment perspective. And part of that is also like, what are your belief systems at play? Okay? Because your belief systems will inform how you are approaching nourishing your body. All right? So the 3 simple daily habits. We'll close off on this. These are super simple. And yes, I know I have them phrases like daily habits. They absolutely are. Movement, hydration, and rest. Okay, I just want to be very clear. These are stupid easy. All right. And I'm going to tell you why they're stupid easy. Because if you heard those and you're like, fuck, I've heard this before, I'm already checked out, come back to me. Because I promise you, this is not about like you need to drink X number of liters and you need to walk 10,000 steps and you need to do all these things. Okay. This is not about shoulding ourselves. 0% of our health pillar in our wealth picture is about shoulding on ourselves. It's not going to work. So the habit of movement, I touched on already, really honoring the space that your body is in day on day. For those of us, I am in this category, who have really tried to like beat ourselves up, shame ourselves into, guilt ourselves into needing to move every day. Those are Virgo check marks. I did every piece correctly. Check. was definitely a big learning piece for me to go, actually, there are some days when my body has like zero interest in movement or zero energy for movement, because candidly, there have been times that I've had periods that like I have so much pain and I just feel like there's like someone like pulled a plug and all the energy drained out of my body. And I'm like, where did it go? I don't understand. I just can hardly move at all. And I look like a very, very old crippled person because I move very slowly. And it only is there for like a few days and then it goes away. My energy comes back. But on those days, there's no fucking way I'm going to drag myself out for a walk or go down and hit the treadmill or go to the gym. No. But like also, movement doesn't have to be something that has the focus of, weight release or strength training. It could literally just be that you are moving your body. Maybe you're doing a little bit of yoga. Maybe you're doing some stretching. Maybe your movement is, I got off of the couch and I walked to the bathroom. And on my way, I took the slightly longer route around the island. So I added 3 steps in. That could be all the movement that you need. But focusing on movement as a daily habit, as you build that into part of your routine with the grace to adjust that movement with what you are both feeling aligned for and have time and space for, because that's also a big part of it, will shift entirely how you see movement. And it will open the gateway for you to build more movement in. Okay? But the intent, what my intent for you to walk away with is that if you aren't yet making movement a regular habit, building it in as a daily thing, again, from that space of grace, will actually nourish your body long term and really take care of the machine that is your body. So play with movement and have fun with it and like do weird fucking shit and do videos where you're like, what the hell am I doing right now? And push yourself some days. And then some days go, okay, my whole goal today is just to hold down the couch and maybe I'll walk to the bathroom and back. Like play with that, but make it a daily thing. Hydration. Our bodies are made up of so much water. I've heard everything from like 60 to 90%. I don't think anybody knows exactly, but there's a lot of water in our like lovely little skin suits. Okay. So hydrating is just, it's so simple. It's like, why aren't we doing more of it? We have all these like, oh my God, these massive giant fucking cups. Can we just talk about those right now? Every time I see them, I'm like, oh my Jesus, like it's a workout just to lift that thing. How many liters of water is actually in there? If you have one of those and it vibes for you, get on with your bad self. I love it. I am not about those giant cups, okay? My friend gave me years ago this gold cup. It's like, it's not from Starbucks, but it's like, do you know the ones like they have at Starbucks? It's like this big tall thing and it has this lid that screws on and it has a straw. It's gold and glittery and it's amazing. And I gotta tell you, I had to work my way into feeling confident enough to have this gold cup because it's like this big. It's like this big. It's huge. And then it says Boss Lady on the outside. She had it engraved. It has like this really lovely engraving on the base as well. I love it so much. I use it all the time, but it took me like a month to feel not or I suppose to get over feeling super self-conscious of like having this giant mug. That's the biggest one I have. And then the rest are like bottles that are like, I don't know. I don't even know, 500 mils? I have no idea. But anyway, they're fun. But hydration is really important. Now, something that is really good to know is that your level of hydration, i.e. how many glasses of water you have in a day, may not meet the like whatever standard is. Okay. So the standard often that we're told is 8 glasses of water a day. All right. And I do believe it's like 8 cups if I am correct on that, which means 2 liters of water a day. That for some is like really hard to attain. And for others is like, oh my God, like I can't imagine drinking that little. That seems so small. I was in the second camp for a long time. I drank about 4.5 liters of water a day for quite a while. Like, and I measured it off of, I have this glass pitcher on our counter that holds about 1.5 liters, and like I refilled it 3 times, and I'm like, okay, I'm drinking 3 of these. And then I had a friend who's like, okay, I made it to 8 glasses today, and I'm like, oh my god, 8 glasses? You've only just made it? Like, she couldn't understand how I could drink that as much water as I was, and I couldn't understand how she was drinking as little water as she was, both of us coming from different places of nourishing our body. The point is, hydrate yourself, okay? And water itself is really, really useful for your body. But one of the lessons that I've been learning over the last year or so is that especially the last 6 months, how do I say this? Drinking straight water hasn't always felt the best for me. So it used to be I would just drink water and like water and water and water and water and water, and like that would be great. And what I've noticed in the last few months, and I'm guessing that it's a little bit of this like lovely peri-transition time, is that just drinking water actually had me feeling like kind of nauseous. I was completely turned off by the idea of like having a glass of water. So my water consumption actually over the last year has really come down. I'm no longer having 4.5 liters a day. I've had times where I've noticed that I'm barely drinking like 1.5 liters in a day. And I'm like, okay, whoa, we definitely need more hydration in our body than that. So how do I get there? So for myself, there's lots of things that you can do. For myself, I add a little bit of lemon, just a little bit of lemon juice into my water. That's it. Like, I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but like it's cloudy-ish because there's like a hint of lemon juice in the water. That small hint of lemon juice has actually made it like within my body, it has put the desire back physically in my body for having the water. So I've had concerns of like, is it okay to drink this much lemon juice? Like, is there like some side effects of having this much lemon juice? And I've come to the point of saying, listen, if it means that I'm hydrating my body, then it's fine. My body is very, very smart. It is very, very wise. It will know and be able to send me signals when something is no longer resonating. All right. So like I used to have double chocolate cupcakes for breakfast every morning. Sorry, double chocolate muffins. They weren't cupcakes. They were muffins for breakfast every morning. And now I do not, because my body has said, no, like that does not align. Cool. So I no longer do that. There will come a time, I'm sure, when maybe I don't want the lemon water, but like I just want more water. And that has shifted from day to day, but allowing myself that grace to go, okay, hang on. I know that I want to hydrate my body. How do I get this hydration in a way that seems to be acceptable for my body? What I will caution, if you drink a lot of pop, if you drink a lot of coffee, those are not the best way to hydrate your body. Yes, there is water in them. Of course, I get it. Coffee is well known to be a diuretic and a little bit of a, I don't know what to call it, a dryer outer, I guess. It has its place. Listen, I love my cup of coffee, which is why I am very much like keen for my coffee machine to come in so I can make the delicious cup of coffee to which I have become accustomed, as opposed to what I am having currently. But if you are only drinking coffee, or you are looking at coffee as like a way that really is hydrating your body, I want to dispel that a little bit to say, yes, there is some obviously water in coffee. That's like what it's made out of. And also your body will need more pure hydration. Pop is a whole different thing. We all know there's a tremendous amount of sugar in pop. I've heard countless stories of people who just like stop drinking pop and like drop 20 pounds because like there's just there's actually a lot of calories that are in pop. I personally disagree with diet pops or the sugar-free ones, because just for my own self, I just think that like if you're going to have pop, just fucking have the pop, but like maybe have less of it instead of having the diet one. I wonder about the different ingredients that are being used. Let's be real, what's in pop is actually not that great anyway. So if you're drinking a lot of pop or a lot of juice, also something to be aware of. Even like the vitamin waters and the Gatorades and all those kinds of things, like those will have elements of delivering nutrients into your body. But if you are in a journey of like really wanting to build your health long term, you may want to review how much of those things you are drinking, because they may not be in the best interest for the long-term health of your body. Okay? So like if you're drinking, I don't know, like 4 cans of pop today, perhaps it's something that you want to explore, that you shift back to 3. And then you steadily shift back and back until you only have 1. I've reached a point in my life now. I used to love a good rum and Coke. Oh, it was so good. And now despite the fact that I still love sweet things, like cannot handle a rum and Coke. It's so much sugar in there. Even the little cans of Coke is probably too much for me. I can't remember the last time that I've had a craving for a can of Coke or any soda really at all. Because it's just become something that is just so not part of my life. Doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else or worse than anybody else. It's just as my body and my health has evolved and how I've shifted in really nourishing my body, that has been something that has fallen away, and I don't miss it, but it also was never like a giant thing. If somehow I had to go to a point in my life where like coffee had to disappear, that would hurt. I would be not okay with that. So think about like hydration and play with ways that you can really hydrate your body on the daily so you are nourishing your body for the long-term health, okay? And just like look at what are you consuming? Are there ways for you to get more natural water or something that is as close to natural water? So that your body can because water is really great for also purifying our systems. All right. So just think about that. And then the last daily habit is rest. Oh, this is a longer episode than I intended, but that's okay. It's going to be amazing. And I'm trusting that you're all loving what we're sharing today. So, and by we, I mean me, myself, and I. The habit of rest. Okay. So, here's the thing about rest. Rest is not something that I do very well historically, and it is something that I have been actively working on over the last few years. I know that must sound completely ridiculous, but it is true. This space of rest, of like true just is, oh my goodness, like very outside of how I have functioned like earlier in my life. I am very Energizer bunny like go, 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 go. I will exhaust most people long before I'm done. And my whole entire life I've heard people go, how do you have the energy to do this? And I just do. And also I have been really leaning into learning to rest my body and playing with what that looks like for me. So I want to offer you a few different frameworks that you can play with and like massage them, toss them out, find your own. Certainly there's a lot of like shame on like sitting and watching TV, right? On the other hand, the time in the evening that I sit down with my love and we just like chill out and watch a little bit of TV is actually very restful and nourishing for not just my body, because like my body is sitting stationary, but also for my connection with my love. Because we're not sitting on like opposite sides of the couch. We are snuggled right up against one another and we hold hands. We're very cute, I know. And like that time together is like this form of, I'll call it relationship glue. It may look to the outside observer like we're just sitting like spaced out watching TV, but that time of intentional rest and being with one another has actually given some really beautiful benefits into our relationship. For one, the physical touch, which is so unbelievably powerful for your body. Listen, there's a reason that a hug can feel good or feel bad, because I've definitely had people that like hug and you're like, ugh, I just feel like you're like slimy and you're stealing my energy. Okay, so had to learn that. But when you hug someone that you love and how good that feels, there's a reason it feels good. Your physiology, your physical body is actually responding to that physical touch. Okay? There's a reason why holding hands feels good. There's a reason why sitting close to someone feels good. There's a reason why this touch of our bodies, whether we're touching ourselves or we're snuggled up against someone else, that it feels so good. So this space of rest where I get to sit snuggled up with my love is feeding a whole pile of different parts of my life, right? It's strengthening our relationship. It's helping my body rest. It's helping my health. It's like doing all the lovely things inside my body of like touching another person. Like there's all these elements that are happening in it. Rest also looks like, for me, so when I go to bed, I know somebody's going to go like, oh, I can't believe you do that. Do you know how bad that is? I read before bed and I read on my phone. Mostly because holding a book at the end of the day is too much, okay? I'm tired and I just want to like relax. So I generally don't read physical books at night before bed. 9 times out of 10, I have a library app on my phone, so I read a book on my phone. Now I have my screen set in such a way that it has as little light emanating from it as possible, including having the library setting that the screen is black with what would be white characters. If they were white, they're like sepia colored. My brightness is super low, and then I have a bedside lamp that has like a rotary dimmer, and I have it dimmed down as far as I can, so that like everything in my room is this space of like coziness, restfulness, winding down. Now I understand that like so much of what we're being told right now is like, don't be on any screen for an hour before bed because you need to allow your melatonin production to kick into play and all of the blue light from the screens. I get that. And for myself, there is critical elements of rest that come as a result of my habit of reading before bed. And part of it isn't just the fact that like I've set this cozy stage. It's also the fact that I know when I get to like, and sometimes I only read for 5 minutes because I'm fucking tired and I'm asleep pretty quick. But like that moment of being able to read and just be with myself is so deeply integral to welcoming in the rest that I am intending on coming overnight. All right. So those are ways that we can like build in habits of rest. And then it's also just like simple moments throughout the day. Okay. Like life is just so go, 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 go. It's kind of ridiculous if I'm being very honest. So finding ways to like pause in the day, take some breaths, just like stare out the window. 3 times this morning before my husband left for work this morning, I'm like, did you see the moon? Did you look out the window? Did you see the moon? And he kept going, no, I haven't seen the moon. He comes to the kitchen, which there's this beautiful crescent moon in the sky this morning, and comes to the kitchen and puts away his dishes. He's standing at the window. I'm like, did you see the moon? And he's like, no. Look at the moon, damn it! Like, just take a half a second, pause what you're doing, and just go, wow, look at the moon. It's beautiful. That is rest. That little moment right there is like you introducing a little bit of space for a little bit of rest and just kind of like landing into the moment. That's it. It doesn't have to be crazy. So building in the habit of rest in your day does not have to look like, so here's my question. I realize that this is maybe a silly question to ask, but my question has been every time they say, well, you need to turn all screens off for an hour before bed. I'm like, but what are you doing in that hour? Like, what are you doing in that hour? Because if you're like, for an hour before bed, you're not allowed to like look at any kind of a screen. For me, at least in my life, okay, so part of that time is like brushing my teeth, washing my face. Fine. Obviously not looking at a screen in that time. But like an hour is a long time. And I don't want to get into like a really charged conversation with my love because neither one of us will sleep. I don't want to be doing chores. I'm not someone who like actually feels good from like doing a whole bunch of stuff right before bed to get ready for the next day. All that stuff for me gets done early. So if I need to like prep meals or prep whatever, sometimes it gets done right before bed because like the day's been busy or I forgot or whatever, but it actually activates my energy as opposed to allowing me space to rest. So I'm always curious, like, what are people doing in this hour? Are they just lying in bed staring at the ceiling? Because like that sounds like torture. So play with what feels restful for you, but also practice some awareness, because I'll tell you that scrolling on the socials right before you go to sleep is probably not the best iteration of rest that you could find. Doesn't mean that there isn't a restfulness to it, but perhaps there's an upgraded version of rest that you can play with, that maybe you do, I don't know, 5 minutes of like check out the gram or check out the TikToks or whatever is the latest social media platform of the day. And then you go, okay, this is done because perhaps this is activating you. It has to. That's how the algorithm works. It actually triggers a part of your brain. Okay. So like in order to protect the container of rest that is when we go to sleep, how do you create a restfulness before that allows your body and brain to wind down? That could be reading books, that could be meditating, it could be 1,000, it could be journaling, it could be whatever. It could be cuddling with your love, it could be getting like busy with your love. It could be all kinds of things. But like really start to play with, what does rest look like for you? All right. That was big. My little clock says here comes 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. That was fun. We just had 5 ones. Yay, we vibed in that. At this point in the video, it might be longer because I might have added an intro. I don't actually know. Next week, I don't know I have a whole pile of topics in here, and I'm not going to get into like, here's what we're going to talk about next week. All I know is that next week we're going to be talking further into the pillar of wealth through the framework of health. If you vibed off of today's content, do the things, click like, click subscribe, share them out. I would love your assistance to like bring this content further into the world. So thank you in advance for doing that. If you're on a thing that needs to leave a review, like I know podcast platforms can benefit from people leaving reviews, leave a review. 5 stars is awesome. 1 star is like, but listen, you have an opinion. And if 1 star is your opinion, then that's what it is. But I am very grateful for those 4 and 5 star reviews because like, yay, it means that like you're vibing with me, and I'm very, very happy about that. I don't think it does this where it sends the hearts out if I'm just recording a video, which is a shame. Dear Apple, when you're doing your updates, of which I'm currently, oh my God, I did the iOS 26 update. I'm not vibing it. I feel like there's a lot of misses here, okay? Apple peeps, fix it please. But like, how fun would it be if I did this while I'm recording a video like this and it did the like heart sending out thing that it does, or if I do this and it does the like fireworks thing that it does when I'm on a video chat? That would be super fun. I'm here for that. All right. I am wishing you the very best week ahead. We are at the start of our 2026 journey. We're at the start of a brand new, fresh numerological cycle. I have lots of ideas that I'm like playing with for how to bring amazing content for you, but also create some spaces and containers for you to expand. So stay tuned. And finally, if you are not yet in the Femme community, this is a private community that I have. It is hosted through Kajabi, which is only important for you to know because if you want to be on the app space, it is the Kajabi app that has that community. That was a weird way of saying that. So the Femme community is a space for like-minded women to come together. It is brand new. I've been figuring out how I want to be standing in that space. There is very little activity happening from the community at this point, which means that if you're brand new to it, lots of space for you to like play and grow and connect with some other people. Yeah. I would love to welcome you there. So the link will be in the show notes of the podcast and in the things below in the YouTubes. And I'd love to have you come in. It's free to join the community. It doesn't cost you anything. And like these videos get posted in full to there as well. I think that's it. I'm going to go finish my glass of water and like give my voice a rest because there's been a lot of talking for this lady. Mwah! Bye for now.